June 7th, 2011, the NBA Finals. Coming out of the Eastern Conference, the Miami Heat, a terrifying team. Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and LeBron James, all in their prime. Each one of these players could have easily led their franchise to the NBA Finals single-handedly. But this year, they combined forces to put together one of the most overpowered rosters the NBA had seen in decades. Their opponent, the Dallas Mavericks, a wily, old veteran team led by a 37-year-old point guard searching for his first title, a small forward and shooting guard past their prime, and a 32-year-old Dirk Nowitzki, one of the best European players in the game, but a man who had been written off as too slow, too soft, and too weak for most of his career, especially when the playoffs came around.
Smart now. Are you going to foul? Terry puts it up. Won't go. Rebound Wade. The Miami Heat, they've done it. They win their first championship in franchise history.
This year, the Miami Heat looked more unstoppable than ever. They skated through the NBA playoffs, 4-1ing the Sixers, the Celtics, the Chicago Bulls with MVP Derrick Rose, and their next victim, the Dallas Mavericks, a team that shouldn't have been there in the first place. Going into Game 4, the Mavericks were on life support. Down 2-1 in the series, they already had lost their home court advantage, and their star had come down with a 102-degree fever.
Dirk Nowitzki is playing tonight's basketball game with a fever perhaps as high as 102 degrees.
Dirk Nowitzki desperately needs some help.
Without him healthy, they didn't stand a chance. The Miami Heat built a 4-point lead going into the fourth quarter, and everything seemed to be going to their plan. Steal another win in Dallas, then close out the series in Miami. A gentleman's sweep throughout the entire playoffs. Simple, easy, clean. But then, something spectacular happened. The Mavericks fought back. Dirk Nowitzki, pale, sweating, visibly sick, scored 10 points in the final quarter, dragging his team to an improbable comeback. It was one of the gutsiest performances in finals history, like MJ flu game all over again.
Goes to the backcourt, gets it to Miller. Miller puts it on. Air ball! And that's it! The Mavericks have evened the series. What a game and what a series!
But going into Game 5, Miami wasn't worried. In fact, they were so confident, they laughed. That's right.
Oh, did y'all hear me cough? Think I'm sick.
LeBron James and Dwayne Wade mocked Dirk Nowitzki's illness.
Well, I just thought it was a little childish, a little ignorant. I've been in this league for 13 years. I never faked.
They thought he was weak. They thought he was soft, and they thought this series was already theirs. But what they didn't realize was that they just made a mistake. A small moment of arrogance that would set off a chain of events they couldn't stop.
LeBron James, D. Wade, that pissed us off in that series. They all in the camera, They are cutting up all in front of us. And the second thing that we really didn't like in that series was Dirk was really sick, and they thought it was playtime. And remember, Bron, D-Wade,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sick, dog.
Yeah.
Dirk had quiet confidence. I won't say quiet confidence. He would say it to us. He just didn't feel like he needed to say it to the world.
This is the story of how a slow and unathletic European took his revenge on the league that doubted him, went on the greatest finals run in NBA history, and humbled the NBA's elite. But before we show you exactly how Dirk Nowitzki took his revenge, you need to understand why he was so overlooked, criticized, and doubted in the first place. Let me take you back to the early 1990s, a time when the NBA was ruled by American talent. Guys like Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, and Charles Barkley dominated the league. All these guys were levels above even the best international players like Dikembe Mutombo or Vlade Divac. Sure, there was Hakeem Olajuwon, but he was considered more of an American prospect because he played 3 years at Houston before declaring for the draft. I mean, the gulf between NBA prospects and international talent was so drastic in the 90s that when the 92 Dream Team played their international opponents, they won by an average of 44 points per game, and the 1996 Dream Team 2 beat their opponents by 31 points. The message was clear. International players just couldn't compete with the NBA talent. So when a skinny, virtually unknown German teenager emerged as a top 10 prospect in the 1998 draft,
with the 9th pick in the 1998 NBA draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Dirk Nowitzki from Würzburg, Germany.
The idea of him becoming a superstar was laughable. But there was one man who believed in Dirk Nowitzki. It was Don Nelson. The Dallas Mavericks coach saw something nobody else did: potential.
Washington, D.C. also goes for that. It's noted as Nowitzki
At the Nike Hoop Summit, Dirk dropped 33 points against America's best players.
And Scottie was like one of the best defenders in the world. He's like, I got him. Dirk got finished like 50-something.
You ain't got it, Scottie.
Yeah, and I said, yo, man, who the hell are you? And he got that thick German. My name is Dirk Nowitzki. I'm 18. I said, 18? Did you want to go to Auburn?
Yet, most NBA scouts weren't sold. He's too raw, too soft, too slow. Yes, his stats were impressive, but he was playing in the semi-pro German league. That's not real competition. And the Nike Hoop Summit, that was a scrimmage. Even Dirk Nowitzki doubted himself. He seriously considered staying in Europe, afraid he wasn't ready for the NBA.
Well, the Dallas people have been nice to me all the whole trip, so I can't say nothing right now, but just everything's nice here and I have to think about it.
But Don Nelson knew better, and he wasn't just betting on Dirk, he was protecting him too. Nelson knew that Dirk's skill set was special, so he deliberately hid him from other teams during the pre-draft process, keeping scouting footage under wraps. So, with Nelson's master plan in place, the Dallas Mavericks took a chance, trading for Dirk on draft night. Then they convinced Dirk to stay in the NBA and not go overseas, a dream come true for both the player and the franchise.
He was the best high school player I'd ever seen, and I was fortunate enough to scout him for a week straight here in Dallas when he was with the European high school players playing American high school players, and he trained here at the YMCA, so Donnie and I got a chance to watch him for a whole week, and we were just sold on him that he was going to be a star player. And
except when Dirk's rookie year season arrived, every doubt came roaring back. Nowitzki's rookie season in 1998 was a disaster. He averaged just 8 points a game, struggled to keep up with the NBA athleticism, and got bullied in the post. He shot just 40% from the field and 20% from three. And the Dallas Mavericks showed no improvement to their record, failing to make the playoffs once again for the 9th year in a row. To most fans and analysts, Dirk was proving exactly what they already believed. European players just aren't cut out for the NBA. But while Dirk struggled early on, his game had something special. Sure, he wasn't overpowering like Shaquille O'Neal. He couldn't jump like Shawn Kemp, and he wasn't tireless like a young Kevin Garnett. Instead, Dirk's game relied on precision, finesse, and fundamentals. He had a jumper so smooth, it looked effortless. He could knock down the mid-range like they were layups. And at 7 foot tall, this sort of touch around the rim would propel Nowitzki to new heights no European had ever been before. After 3 seasons of steadily improving year over year, Dirk was starting to put the league on notice. In 2000 run, he was averaging 23 points, nearly 10 rebounds, and 2.4 assists per game, shooting over 50% from 2-point percentage and nearly 40% from 3, earning his first All-Star selection, something he continued to earn for the next 10 seasons in a row. He pulled Dallas out of the bottom of the NBA too, and led them to multiple playoff appearances for the first time in decades. He was unstoppable in the mid-range, and all of a sudden the NBA was talking about the importance of having a stretch 4 on your team. But then, in the mid-2000s, a new narrative emerged. Dirk's defense was a liability. He was inconsistent in the playoffs. And worst of all, they said he lacked true leadership to bring home an NBA championship. The phrase "too soft" still followed Dirk. And it wasn't just about his physicality now, it was about his mentality. In 2006, Dirk had the chance to silence all the doubters. The Mavericks made it to the NBA Finals, and after going up 2-0 against Dwayne Wade and Shaquille O'Neal in the Miami Heat, it seemed like Dirk was on his way to immortality. But then, everything fell apart.
And a monster slam by Zone. And now Miami on the comeback trail. Wade, stop, pop on the wing. Misses, the rebound, inside slam back. Bounce pass to Walker, in Walker, layup, got it. Miami has its biggest lead at 9.
Wade pulls up, puts it in. Wade on the drive, inside, banks it in. Wade, it's good. Jason Williams kicks it out. Hayton shot, it's good.
Turn the corner. Terry puts it up. Won't go. Wade will hold on. And the Miami Heat are champions of the basketball world.
The Heat won 4 straight games, and Dirk's performance in these finals raised even more questions about his ability to perform under pressure. He shot just 39% from the field and 25% from 3. He missed crucial shots when his team needed him the most. Critics didn't say Dirk failed. They said he choked. And it wasn't just the media piling on either.
Dirk Nowitzki took 90% of the blame for that Maverick collapse at the hands of Dwayne Wade in the 2006 finals.
After the series, tensions boiled over between Dirk and Dwayne Wade. D-Wade openly questioned Dirk's toughness, saying, quote, "He's the reason they lost the championship, because he wasn't the leader he was supposed to be in the closing moments," and then went on to say he wasn't assertive enough as a leader supposed to be. That lit a fire under Dirk Nowitzki. The next season, he came to destroy the league. He averaged 24 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists per game, on 50% from the field and nearly 42% from three-point range. He led the Mavericks to an NBA-best 67 wins and became the first European-born player to win the NBA MVP. Don Nelson looked like a genius. The Mavericks were no longer the laughingstock of the league. They were a legit threat. They had an MVP to lead their team. Now there was only one last step for Dirk: redemption in the NBA playoffs by raising the Larry O'Brien Trophy. But in 2007, disaster struck again. In the first round of the playoffs, the 8th seed Golden State Warriors, led by Baron Davis and the We Believe team, stunned the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas lost in embarrassing fashion.
That's it. Stolen by Patriots. The Warriors will win it. 0.2 of a second on the... What a playoff. The Heat, the defending champs, go out in 4 straight. The Western Conference champions down 3-1.
Losing in 6 games to become the first #1 seed to lose to an 8th seed in NBA history. And the worst part, Dirk shot just 38% from the series. And in a closeout game, Dirk went 2 for 13 from the field, completely disappearing when his team needed him most. Once again, the critics had all the ammunition they needed. All the critiques came roaring back. He's too soft, too slow, too weak. He crumbles under pressure. He's not a leader.
To lose in the first round was heartbreaking. I think every career has ups and downs, and this is definitely...
The Golden State Warriors have pulled off the biggest playoff upset in NBA history.
And once again, even if he's MVP, you can't win with a European leading your team in the NBA. As the years went on, it seemed like Dirk's window was closing. The Mavericks made a first or second round playoff exit in 2008, then 2009, and 2010. By 2011, the narrative had shifted again. Dirk Nowitzki's peak had passed, and his time to win was over. With the league dominated by aggressive superstars like Kobe Bryant and LeBron James, to actually win in the NBA, you needed a big three, or at least a dynamic duo. Dirk Nowitzki didn't seem like he belonged in that conversation anymore. But Dirk wasn't done, not even close. In 2011, that same year, he led the Dallas Mavericks on one of the most incredible playoff runs in NBA history. As a #3 seed, they first took on the Portland Trail Blazers in the opening round, matching up against a 26-year-old Brandon Roy and LaMarcus Aldridge. Dirk went for 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists. Mavs win in 6 games. Then, in the semifinals, they matched up against the defending championship Lakers, Paul Gasol and Kobe Bean Bryant, a 5-time NBA champion. Dirk goes for 25 and 9, outscoring Kobe Bryant and grabbing more rebounds than Andrew Bynum. The Mavs sweep the defending champions, shocking the basketball world.
Stunning! Astonishing! Spectacular! The Mavericks are through to the Western Conference Finals.
Next came the Oklahoma City Thunder in the Western Conference Finals, a team led by 3 future MVPs, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. Dirk averaged 32 points per game, including a Game 1 victory where he scored 48. He beat OKC in just 5 games, leading the Mavericks back to the finals for the first time since 2006.
Second time in franchise history, the Dallas Mavericks will play for the NBA championship. And 5 years after the fact, there's this matter of unfinished business.
But it wasn't time to celebrate yet. Remember, when Dirk finally made the 2011 NBA Finals, it wasn't just the Dallas franchise he was carrying. It was a career worth of criticism, unfair expectations, and his own dreams. In order to become an NBA champion and erase all the doubters, he'd have to beat one of the greatest super teams ever formed, a team that terrified the entire NBA.
Sitting ahead for Wade. There he goes. Oh! House of highlights. Nice move by Chris Bosh. So skilled. And Wade, baseball pass to LeBron.
In Game 1, Dirk went off for 27 points, but was inefficient, going 7 for 18 from the field. LeBron's deep 3 shooting and a critical jumper by Chris Bosh helped Miami beat the Mavs by 6 points. 1-0 Miami.
To Bosh for the finish.
or just didn't play well enough. And Miami really took it to us down the stretch. They got some alley-oops and they got away from us.
In Game 2, Dirk shows up late. Down 15 with 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, Dirk scored the Mavs' final 9 points, including a game-winning layup with his injured left hand to steal a win in Miami. Series tied 1-1. In Game 3, the Heat fight back. D-Wade dominates with 29 points and 11 rebounds. Chris Bosh again hits a clutch jumper with 39 seconds left. And despite a 34-point performance by Dirk, the Mavs lose at home to the Heat. Not a good sign. Miami up 2-1. Game 4, Dirk's flu game. With a 102-degree fever, team doctors tell Dirk he probably shouldn't play, shocking his teammates.
Dirk sick. Huh? Sick? What do you got? They were like, we got the flu. Oh, I said, oh, no. Not right now. Not in this moment.
In my head, I was thinking, shoot, this might be the biggest game of my life. And I'm here sweating and shivering and frustrated.
But Nowitzki takes the court anyway. And this moment is what made the Dallas Mavericks great. The whole team stepped up to support their leader. Jason Terry hits key jumper after key jumper. Shawn Marion is huge on both sides of the ball. And JJ Barea gives the Mavs the offensive spark they needed off the bench to keep the game tight.
Through the defense, and he puts it in. Wild shot by Barea.
JJ Barea. Nobody give him credit. JJ Barea was the one who changed the. We didn't have no answer for him.
Then, in the fourth quarter, Dirk came alive, scoring 10 of his 21 points, including a critical layup to seal the win.
Going too early. Drives underneath, layup, he puts it in! Nowitzki makes it a three-point game. Timeout, Miami!
The series is tied, and the Mavs look more formidable than people expected. But the Miami Heat, they didn't like the way the media pushed the whole Dirk flu game narrative. To them, it was Miami who lost the game, rather than the Mavs who won it. LeBron scored only 8 points, and D-Wade missed a critical free throw he normally makes. So, in the warm-ups for Game 5, they mocked Dirk's cough, poking fun at his fake illness.
Did y'all hear me cough? Think I'm sick.
The Mavericks didn't like the implications. Saying Dirk is too slow or can't play defense, that's fine. But implying he faked an illness and their win wasn't because of his leadership in the heat of battle, that was too far. Even Skip Bayless saw this as a huge mistake and actually switched his pick for the finals winner on live TV.
You know, the more I see that video, and that's about my 5th time, the more I think about switching my pick to the Dallas Mavericks.
Wow, that says a lot.
This is potent stuff. This is going to have huge legs through the rest of this day and the next couple of days.
But how would Dirk Nowitzki and the Mavericks actually respond? In Game 5, Dirk Nowitzki went for 29 points, shooting 50% from the field, but 100% from 3 and 10 for 10 from the free throw line. Plus, once again, Jason Terry and JJ Barea were unstoppable, going for 21 points and 17 points respectively. The Mavs win big at home.
Terry, a long three. Bang! Jason Terry gives the Mavericks a 7-point lead with 33 seconds to lead in the NBA Finals. They hand the Miami Heat back-to-back losses for the first time in the playoffs.
Series 3-2, Dallas. Just one win away from NBA glory. Then in Game 6, a shock of a lifetime. Jason Terry leads all scorers with 27 points.
Terry off the dribble, pulls up. That's good. 14 points in 14 minutes off the bench. Terry and Nowitzki have been through a lot of painful playoff memories. He has been superb the last couple of games, and once again tonight.
We're basically the only two left from 06 that went through that disappointment.
And after a poor shooting start, Dirk comes alive in the second half again to score 18 of his 21 points.
Left-hand dribble, and he gets to the rim, and he finishes as he hits the net as well. They can smell it and sense it.
The Mavericks do the impossible.
The Mavericks have scaled the NBA playoff mountain and have planted their flag. They are the NBA champions for 2010-2011.
Dirk Nowitzki is crowned Finals MVP, becoming just the second European to do so and the first ever German-born player. The player they mocked and called soft led his team through one of the most difficult runs in NBA history. He beat a super team who had a point guard who had previously embarrassed him in the playoffs and media just a few years earlier. And after 13 years of criticism, Dirk finally silenced the doubters. He was an NBA champion, From then on, Dirk's legacy was solidified. His signature one-legged fadeaway would help him rack up over 31,000 points. After 21 seasons, Dirk retired and became the longest-lasting player to stick with a single franchise. His retirement tour was filled with tons of fun moments and a passing of the torch to the next great European player, Luka Doncic. A sad but beautiful moment. Dirk Nowitzki revolutionized the game. Through his hard work, quiet confidence, and leadership, he paved the way for a new wave of international players to dominate the NBA. And he proved that sometimes the last laugh is the sweetest. But what do you think? Was Dirk Nowitzki's 2011 playoff run the greatest ever? And where do you rank Dirk Nowitzki as a power forward all time? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoy these longer videos, please let me know by subscribing and ticking on the notification bell. My next video is about how a fat and lazy slob humiliated the entire NBA both on and off the court. And you don't want to miss it because it's hilarious. Peace.